Hey, this is Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Today I'm going to show you how to check and adjust the valve clearance on your YFZ450. Checking your valve clearance should be a part of your routine maintenance to help prevent problems, but unfortunately most people wait until they are starting to have problems to do this check. Now, if your valves are too tight, which is the most common problem with this valve clearance, what's going to happen is the machine is going to be hard to start and you're going to have a poor idle. If this goes left unchecked, it can actually burn those valves. So you want to stay up on this maintenance. This machine right here, it's a 2014 YFZ450R, but the process will be similar for all of the 450s from 2004 and newer. There will be a few minor differences, so you do want to refer to your model-specific service manual for more information and specs. But for this, if you had a brand new machine, the service interval is going to be at 20 hours or 1 month of use, and then after that, it's going to be every 6 months or 160 hours of use. And a great way to track that maintenance interval is with an hour meter. So we are at that interval, and we'll go ahead and show you how to get it done. To do this job, we have a few common hand tools. We have an inch-pound torque wrench, our Tusk feeler gauge set, digital calipers, rags, safety glasses, rubber gloves, and we're also going to use a magnet. As far as parts go, we're using the valve cover and cam chain tensioner gasket. This is under the OEM diagram. We're using safety wire, Yamaha bond, then we also have silicone, assembly lube, some parts cleaner, and then you also need the correct size shims. These are sold individually or in a kit, whichever you prefer. The first thing we need to do is remove our seat, our gas tank covers, the gas tank, and that way we can gain access to our valve cover. Now keep in mind, anytime you check your valves, you want to make sure that the engine is at room temperature. Now to get this gas tank off, we need to remove this fuel line, and to do that, we'll pop this clip up, and then we'll press on the 2 tabs on the line itself and pull it off. Once it's off, we have these protective covers. We'll install one of the protectors into the fuel line and one over on the fuel pump. And that way we don't get any dirt in there. Once we've done that, we'll remove our electrical connector by pressing on the tab and pulling out. Now we can remove the tank. To do that, we'll remove this 10mm head bolt. We'll pull back on the tank and lift it up and out. Next, we'll clean off the valve cover and all the areas around it, and that way we don't drop any dirt down into the engine while we're working on it. After that, I'm going to pull the spark plug cap out, and we'll get some compressed air. We'll blow it down into that hole, and there's actually a hole on the side of the cylinder. You can blow through that as well, and a lot of times that helps get some of the dirt out of there. The older models, they actually had coil on cap. If that's the style you have, you'll disconnect the coil, and then you can remove it. After that, we're going to remove our vent line. Now, the older models had a couple of vent lines, so just depending which one you have, you want to disconnect those. Next thing we'll do is remove our spark plug. And then we can remove both of these bolts on top of the valve cover. That's just a 5mm T-handle we're using, Allen T-handle. And then we'll remove this valve cover. With our valve cover removed, we can now get the engine at top dead center compression. To do that, we're going to remove the 2 timing covers from the left side of the engine. We'll rotate the engine counterclockwise until it is at top dead center. And how you'll know it is there's a timing mark on the flywheel cover, but there's also dots on these cam chain sprockets, and they need to line up with the cylinder head. Now that we have the engine on top dead center, I'm going to take our valve clearance measurements on the intake camshaft, and our spec on this, it is 10 to 15 hundredths of a millimeter. So I'm going to start at the minimum spec and make sure we can fit this feeler gauge in there. And you'll take that reading on all 3 intake valves. If you had any of them that the minimum spec didn't fit in, then you'll want to use a smaller feeler gauge until you find one that fits and write that measurement down. But on ours, our feeler gauge went in easy, so we're going to start scaling up until we find a feeler gauge that won't fit in that clearance. Moving on to the exhaust camshaft, our spec on these valves is going to be 0.20 to 0.25 millimeters. So we're going to start with the 0.20, and it doesn't fit on that valve. So I'm going to use a smaller feeler gauge, and a 0.15 millimeter fits on that side. So we'll write that measurement down. On this other valve, I'm using a 0.20 millimeter, and that fits in between there. So I'm going to scale up. We'll try to fit a 0.23, and that one does not fit. So we know we are at the minimum spec on this one, and this other valve is actually out of spec. Once you've taken these measurements, and if everything checks out okay and everything's within spec, you can actually reinstall your valve cover, install the gas tank and plastics, and you're good to go. But if you're like us and had one or more valves out of adjustment, then you'll need to go in further and you'll actually be replacing some shims. So we're going to remove both camshafts, and no matter what valve is out of adjustment on yours, we'll show you how to get that taken care of. So to do that, we're going to start by removing our cam chain tensioner. Now to remove the tensioner, I'm going to start by loosening this bolt on the back of it. That's going to help with reassembly. And then there's a bolt that actually mounts this up on both sides of the tensioner. We'll remove both of those bolts completely. And with the bolts removed, we'll remove the cam chain tensioner assembly. And then these gaskets, sometimes they come off really easy. Ours is actually stuck on there pretty good, so we're going to use a gasket scraper to remove it. Now that we have our cam chain tensioner out, I'm going to use some of this safety wire and put it around the chain, and that way we don't lose it. Next, we're going to loosen the bolts on these cam caps, and I'm just going to do it in a crisscross pattern, loosen them up evenly. And now we'll remove the cam caps. And when you take these off, you need to be really careful. You can lose these clips really easy, and you don't want to drop them down on that cam chain side. All right, starting with this intake cam, I'm going to work this up, and I will remove this. After that, I'm going to remove the exhaust cam. And once I remove this one, I'm going to hold on to the safety wire, and I'm just going to hang it on that cylinder head. And then we're going to stuff a rag down in this area right here, and that way we don't drop any of the buckets or the shims down in there. All right, next thing we're going to do is remove these buckets and shims. So on these, you want to lay everything out in order, and that way the buckets at least get back to their original positions. So I'm just using a magnet to pull that up. Now inside the bucket, you can see we have our shim down in there. You don't want to lose that. I'm going to tip it out, and you should be able to see that number right there. So this is a 181. And if that number is worn off, that's where we'll use our digital calipers to measure it. And just make sure you're laying all these parts out in order. That way the buckets get back to their original positions. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the rest of our buckets and shims, but if you are like us and you only had one that is out of adjustment, really all you need to do is remove that one and the shim. And since we're right here, you can see that we have a little bit of dirt where that valve cover normally sits. I'm going to go ahead and clean all of that up, and then we'll go to the bench and we'll select the correct shims. All right, now that we have everything laid out in order, we need to measure the shims on any valves that were out of spec. So ours, it was this exhaust valve right here. So I'm going to measure this shim, and I'm going to write that thickness next to the measurement we took on our spec sheet. So this one right here, it's a 175. Now I've gone ahead and written down all my shim sizes But again, really you just need to do this for any that are out of spec. So we're going to focus on this one, and there's actually a math formula to help us figure out the correct shim size to put back in. So that formula is going to be A equals B minus C plus D, and don't forget to do this in order of operation. So what we're going to do, A equals our new shim thickness, and B is going to equal our recorded measurement. So we measured 0.15 millimeters, and then we're going to subtract where we want to be. So we want a 0.20 millimeter clearance in there, and then we're going to add our shim size, which is 1.75 millimeters. So if we bring that down, A equals minus 0.05 millimeters plus 1.75 millimeters. So A equals 1.70 millimeters. So that's our new shim size, a 1.70, and we're going to put that in our machine. If you had any other valves that were out of adjustment, again, you'll use the same process to figure out which shim you need. And then something I want to point out is that these shim sizes don't always work out perfectly, and you might have to round up or down to the closest shim size. Some brands, they only come in increments of 0.05 millimeters, and other brands, they'll actually give you 0.025 millimeter increments. So you'll have to just select what works best for your situation and go with that. All right, now that we have the correct shims selected for our machine, what we're going to do is a quick visual inspection of the other parts. So these buckets, you want to make sure they're not visually damaged. If there's any scoring or pitting on them, then you want to get them replaced. Now this cam cap, you just want to make sure these surfaces where the cam rides are smooth. And then on the camshaft, make sure the bearing rolls smoothly. And then these lobes, make sure they're not rounded off, there's no pitting or visible damage to them. And same with these journal areas. And as we go back together, I'm going to apply just a little bit of assembly lube to everything. Next, we'll install the shims one at a time, followed by the buckets. You always want to make sure these shims are seated all the way in there. And then once these buckets are in place, you want to make sure they can rotate easily. The next thing we'll do is remove this rag away from our cam chain, and then we'll take the exhaust camshaft and we're going to install that first. So we'll go ahead and remove the safety wire we have from the cam chain. And when you install the exhaust camshaft, keep in mind that we have those two timing marks, and you also want to verify that you're on top dead center compression still and that your crankshaft hasn't moved. So you'll be looking at the mark on that flywheel cover. So I'm pulling all the tension out of the cam chain on that exhaust side. So I need to rotate this cam just a little bit more to get it lined up. So we're lined up right there. Now we're ready to install the intake camshaft. All right, with the intake camshaft, I'm going to get the timing marks close to where they need to be. And we'll slip that chain onto it, set it down into place. And on this one, I'm about 1 tooth off. So I'll make that adjustment, set it back into place. And that is pretty close right there. So we'll double check the timing marks on this flywheel cover and these two sprockets as well again. And then we'll install these cam caps and we'll torque those bolts to 7.2 foot-pounds. So to get these caps on, I'm going to install the alignment clips. Make sure you have the dowel pins on the caps, and we'll set them down into place. And now we can install the bolts. So for these bolts, there is a tightening sequence as well as a torque spec, and we did apply assembly lube to the threads. So this is going to be number 1. We'll just get that loosely snug. This is number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5. And 6. And now in the same sequence, we'll torque them all down to 7.2 foot-pounds. And then on the exhaust camshaft cap, number 1 is going to be this one right here. Number 2, 3, and 4. All right, our next step is to install this cam chain tensioner. And to better show the process, I'm going to move this hose out of the way. You don't have to do this. Now to get this tensioner ready, I'm using a new gasket. We'll make sure it's in the correct orientation with this up mark. And then we're going to wind the tensioner in. And I'm doing that. You can use a small screwdriver, or this is the Tusk mini carb toolkit. I'm just using that to help wind this all the way down. And once it's wound all the way down, it's a good idea just to test this tensioner and make sure it pops out all the way on its own. If it does, you know you're good, but if it doesn't, you'll want to replace that tensioner. So I'm going to wind this all the way back in. And then I'm going to hold it and I'll install the two mounting bolts. Now, when you install these two mounting bolts, it's crucial that you make sure this tensioner doesn't come out, because if it does and you crank down on these mounting bolts, it's going to damage your cam chain. So just be really careful with that. And we're going to torque these two bolts down to 7.2 foot-pounds. Now once we have those bolts tightened down pretty good, while we are holding our screwdriver, I'm just going to check it with our torque wrench. And we got them tight enough. But just since we have that wrench on there, it's a good idea. You want to back off this adjuster again and screw it all the way in. Make sure there's some chain slack, and then let it out and take up the tension, and that way you know the tensioner is set correctly. Now we're going to reinstall the bolt onto the back of the tensioner. And now what we're going to do is rotate the crankshaft over 2 revolutions. We'll recheck our valve clearances and make sure our timing is still right on. And again, you're going to be turning this counterclockwise. All of our measurements are within spec now, and before I install that valve cover, I'm going to put our new gasket on it. All right, after that, we're going to install these timing covers. And these don't need to be cranked down really tight. These are just plastic covers, so you just want to get them snug. And on this valve cover gasket, I'm just putting a little bit of Yamaha Bond right in the corners, not very much. And that's going to make sure we don't have any leaks. Make sure you cut out the support strap on the valve cover gasket before you install it. The next thing we'll do is install our spark plug. We're replacing it with a new one because this is a part of your routine maintenance and we do want to avoid having any problems down the road. After that, you'll reconnect your breather hose or hoses, depending which model you're working on. Next, I'll reconnect the spark plug cap, and I'm just putting a little silicone spray where that seal is, and it helps it press into place really easy. We'll just press it down until we hear it clip, and then we can reinstall our gas tank, our plastics, and the seat. And that's it for checking and adjusting the valve clearance on your YFZ450. If you need any of these gaskets, feeler gauges, or any other parts for your machine, be sure to check out our website. We offer free shipping on orders over $75. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we have a lot of other helpful content on there. Thanks for watching.